You already have everything it takes to own your life. Find your sport and get involved.
Paralympic sports began in England during the 1940s as a new way to promote resiliency for service members wounded during World War II. It quickly became an extension of their rehabilitation process. Paralympic sports creator Dr. Ludwig Guttmann is known as the father of sport for people with disabilities. He was a strong advocate of using sports therapy to enhance the quality of life for wounded warriors and people with debilitating injuries. His dream was of a worldwide sports competition for people with disabilities to be held every 4 years as the equivalent of the Olympic Games. 12 years later, his dream became a reality.
But you know, as early as 1956, my father, who started the Games at Stoke Mandeville, said he dreamt of the time when people with disabilities would take part in the Olympic Games.
The first Paralympic Games were held in Rome in 1960. Originally, only wheelchair athletes were invited to compete. Since that time, the Paralympic Games have grown dramatically. The Paralympic Games are now the second largest sporting event in the world, second only to the Olympics. The 2012 London Paralympic Games brought the Games home to England and received the most attention and coverage of any Paralympic Games in history.
And it's absolutely wonderful to see everybody here, all the athletes, 4,233 athletes from all over the world, and their coaches. And it's going to be the most amazing festival of sport. And I hope the world sees what's going on in sport here, which is just wonderful, and more countries should come and join in the Paralympic movement.
The London Games kicked off with a bang in London's Olympic Park. More than 4,200 athletes from over 160 countries got the royal treatment from their distinguished hosts. Part music video and part aerial circus with a positive message, the ceremony paid tribute to people like Stephen Hawking, who overcame despite physical challenges.
Understanding of the underlying order of the world. Why it is.
After the thrilling performance and parade, wounded warrior and triathlete Royal Marine Commando Joe Townsend zip-lined into the stadium with the torch. The Paralympic archer who won Great Britain's first Paralympic gold medal in the first Paralympic Games, Margaret Mahan, had the honor of lighting the flame. With the cauldron lit and the flag raised, the 2012 Paralympic Games were officially underway. More than 250 athletes represented the United States in the London Paralympic Games, 20 of which were military veterans. 3 of those still serve on active duty. Representing Team USA in archery were Army vets Doogie Denton and Russell Wolfe, and National Guard veteran Jerry Shields. While they all gave their best shot, none brought home a medal this time. During the games, Denton's shootout with teammate Matt Stutzman made for what some have called the greatest archery match in the history of the games.
So Matt Stutzman defeats his compatriot Doogie Denton.
It's unfortunate to shoot against your own teammate because no one of you is going home. I'd like to see both of us meet up on the next end so that we can shoot for the gold and silver.
This guy is insanely awesome. We go back and forth all the time, and
Yes.
most of the time he comes out on top.
Army vet Jennifer Schubel, Navy veteran Stephen Peace, and Marine Corps veteran Oz Sanchez all kicked it into high gear for Team USA cycling. Sanchez brought home 1 gold medal and 1 bronze medal, and Schubel earned 1 silver and 1 bronze.
My veterans experience is how I was able to handle this pressure cooker. I mean, this is a crazy loud velodrome, but all the training I've received at West Point made me able to hold my cool and keep my focus on the clock and be able to get out fast.
And it gives me freedom, and that's all I can ask for.
There's a lot. It's a big stakes race. You know, there's no bigger stakes in sporting than this. So that really ups the ante to come in with your top game.
Marine Corps veteran Rob Jones and teammate Oksana Masters glided their way to the medal stand, earning 1 bronze medal for Team USA in rowing. Army veteran Eric Holland and active duty Army Sergeant First Class Josh Olson set their sights on bringing home the gold, but both missed their mark in shooting.
You know, there's a lot of guys that have been wounded and that want to continue to serve. I'm very blessed, very fortunate to be able to do that, and I hope I inspire some, you know, not even wounded soldiers, but, you know, other soldiers just to, you know, hey, they might be going through something tough. They might have, you know, symptoms of PTSD, but, you know, if you work hard, give yourself goals to work on, and, you know, it helps you get out of bed every day, it helps you work hard and overcome things in your life.
Sitting volleyball team captain Army veteran Carrie Miller led her team to the medal stand, picking up the silver for Team USA.
In volleyball, there's times where you can go forever and you never get to touch the ball. So it's like, if you ever see me and we do a whole play and like I rotate out and I'm like, it's because that whole play I didn't get to touch the ball.
Active duty Marine Renee Rentiera and Army veteran Gavin Sibian represented Team USA in soccer 7-a-side. While they didn't make their goal of winning a medal during these games, the experience was something worth more than gold.
It's awesome going from defending your country to competing for your country, so it's an honor.
It's a lot of fun. Obviously there's a lot of pride in it, but it's a different experience. It's surreal right now.
Marine Corps veteran Angela Madsen, Army vet Cece Mazik, Navy vet Christopher Clemens, and Army vets Scott Severn and Scott Winkler all represented Team USA in track and field. Madsen and Severn both brought home bronze medals for Team USA.
And the military always brings more maturity, more leadership. When I do go out and compete, I don't get nervous. I don't look at the competition and get intimidated or anything like that. I go out and do my best, and it's all I can ask of myself.
Air Force veteran Mario Rodriguez took a stab at a medal for Team USA in wheelchair fencing, but his hopes were foiled by some sharp competition.
Fencing is martial art, and it's also a discipline. Basically, you don't have to be the strongest person, but it requires a great deal of speed and agility, and then thinking on the fly.
Navy veteran Will Grulot led Team USA to a bronze medal in one of the most intense Paralympic sports. wheelchair rugby, also known as murder ball.
The speed of the game, the intensity, and then definitely the collisions. You can't help but get pumped up when you're playing. So I think everybody understands that it's going to be very physical, a lot of contact, a lot of collisions. That part of the game lends itself to lots of excitement. I think for people that haven't seen it, they can watch it and just be in the game all the time because you never know what's going to happen. That teamwork that we have, and then the leadership that I learned, you know, as I've been a part of the team, that's definitely helped. We play hard, we play to win, but we always play with integrity and the sportsmanship that's out there in the games. That's what this is all about.
Active duty Navy diver Lieutenant Brad Snyder made a big splash in London for Team USA swimming, winning 2 gold medals and 1 silver.
You know, I definitely wouldn't have imagined that this was possible. It was kind of just a whim of a hope back in February, and it's been a crazy ladder to climb, and I'm really excited to be here. It's really an amazing experience to swim in front of all these people, and you know, I'm just on cloud 9 right now.
The military veteran athletes on Team USA all did their best to help rack up the medal count. But in the end, the United States ranked 6th with 31 gold, 29 silver, and 38 bronze medals. The most highly anticipated event in the 2012 Paralympic Games was the men's 100-meter sprint, a race featuring some of the biggest names in the sport. Oscar Pistorius, the veteran Blade Runner, who in his 3rd Paralympic Games was the first to compete in the Olympics as well. 21-year-old hopeful Richard Brown, who was competing in his first Paralympics since losing his leg in an accident. And Johnny Peacock, the 19-year-old hometown hero, with 80,000 fans in attendance. The runners took off in a flurry of legs and blades. For silver medalist Richard Brown, he couldn't have been more thrilled to race against opponents like Pistorius.
I saw I knew on my left, and I was like, please, oh God, hold him off. I was like, please hold him off, and I did.
The breathtaking finish in front of a capacity crowd is proof of the growth of the sport, according to Pistorius.
Just such a phenomenal thing to be a part of that race, and really inspiring. I've seen the sport grow tremendously over the last 8 years to a point that you've got 80,000 people in the stadium. You've got people all around the world watching. The people in this race, they're household names, and that's a phenomenal thing for me.
Richard Brown. And with his first medal in his very first Paralympics, Brown could barely contain his excitement on the medal stand.
This is the world's best right here. The 8th fastest amputees in the world. And if you ever doubt us, look at the results of that race and you will see that we are just as good of competitors as anybody in the planet. Do not sleep on us just because we have a physical disability. But we're bringing some home for the U.S.
The spirit of competition at the Paralympic Games reflects great credit on all of the athletes who have endeavored to overcome their physical challenges and push themselves to the limit just to get the chance to compete. Like all Paralympic athletes, active duty Navy Lieutenant and Paralympic champion Brad Snyder overcame significant mental and physical challenges to make his way to London for the 2012 Paralympic Games. He lost his eyesight to an improvised explosive device in Afghanistan nearly 1 year to the day from winning gold at the Paralympic Games.
There was a lot of uncertainty going into this morning, a lot of nerves. Coming out in front of a crowd this size is pretty daunting. I kind of underestimated that, I think, a little bit. But we were able to, once I hit the water, felt really comfortable, felt really loose. I was able to get a good swim in this morning, and then backed it up tonight. Glad to touch the wall first. I'm really glad to set a precedent that I hopefully will carry through the week, and I'm glad to represent Team USA.
While the Taliban may have robbed Snyder of his eyesight, what they couldn't take from him is his fighting spirit.
Well, I was sighted for a long time, so I know what it looks like to have a guy next to you. And I imagine that guy's just a little bit ahead of me that whole time. And, you know, I'm as competitive as the next guy and I want to win. So visualizing that guy next to me is what motivates me. And also, I mean, I gain a lot of motivation from the crowd. I hear my teammates calling USA and really gets me going. And really just the whole crowd. They're fantastic.
Snyder's success in the pool in London thrust him into the limelight as a shining example of how Paralympic sports can help participants triumph over tragedy.
One of the things that I hopefully my story reaches out and touches people with is, you know, that idea that there's always a way forward. You know, there's a lot of pretty dismal circumstances that people are putting up with, but I think that the Paralympics in general really kind of provides this perspective that regardless of the barriers that are put in front of you, there's no reason you can't knock them down and go out there and enjoy life and experience success.
Snyder talked about how his military training as a Navy diver helped to prepare him for the challenges he faces both in and out of the pool during a press conference at the main press center in the Olympic Park.
Contrary to the public opinion of diving, we do a lot of diving where it's not like, you know, gorgeous fish and shipwrecks and stuff like that. It's diving in silt where you can't see anything, and having to perform intricate tasks underwater where you can't see anything. So to be able to do things in the water blind, it's not the first time I've had to do any of those things.
Snyder's determination and accomplishments since his injury exemplify the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment, and have turned him into a role model for others facing adversity to overcome their disabilities.
I think it's great. I think that it's awesome to have a platform of advocacy. It's awesome to be able to represent wounded warriors. It's awesome to represent the Navy. It's great to throw on a new uniform, but also be able to throw homage back to you know, the armed forces, both the Navy and the Army. I work closely in hand with the Army, and it's really great to be able to represent them here in London.
Like all of his military veteran teammates on Team USA, Snyder received a lot of support through military programs specifically designed to help veterans overcome the challenges of recovery. The U.S. military Paralympic program was designed to do just that.
The military program really began back in 1948 with Sir Louis Gutmann, who escapes Nazi Germany, goes to London, England, and begins a program for injured vets in World War II, using wheelchair sports as a mechanism and tool for them getting back to a healthy and active lifestyle. We fast forward now to today, we see a lot of injured veterans coming off the Iraq and the Afghan battlefields, and they're now getting back to a healthy and active lifestyle using sports as a tool for their rehabilitation as well. A service member who might be first injured and they come back and they're now in their hospital bed, they don't know what's next, they don't know how they're going to move forward to get out of that bed. A service member that has gone through one of our programs might act as a mentor, a role model, to go in and say, you know what, I was just where you are, and I healed through these sports programs. You need to get active, you need to get involved.
My name's Scott Winkler. I was in your spot at one time. You guys have opportunities to make things change in your life. You guys are all here for one reason. Just like you were on a battlefield with everybody, you're back here with us. It's one big family. The military always will be a family. I see a lot of talent out there.
2008, you know, was a special time because in the current war, we saw some athletes make the team. You saw Melissa Stockwell or Carlos Leon and Scott Winkler. Those individuals were really the new pioneers of sport underneath this new model that the whole military is taking on, a sports model of rehabilitation. And they did phenomenal. They really showcased and showed the world what was possible.
Scott, you're out here representing the United States Army as well. Tell us what it means to have represented your country, of being one of the 4 athletes that were from Iraq, Afghanistan in 2008 Beijing, and now your hopes on setting for London. What does it mean to represent your country again?
Well, it's a great honor to represent it again. I mean, first it was the battlefield, now it's the athletic field. So it's to inspire other soldiers that are injured from the wars to get on board and get involved with sports. So it's more as a mentor too. And but I love my country. I fought for it. I'll die for it. And here I go in the athletical field again.
Wonderful job. Once again, Scott Winkler, our F-55 American record holder. Thanks, Scott.
I think for London with our veterans, we're in a very strong position. We have one of the strongest teams going into London, and any one of our members is in strong contention for medals.
The 2012 Paralympic Games presented the athletes with not only the opportunity to raise awareness about the rehabilitative benefits of sport, but also the opportunity to serve as ambassadors for their country. And in that spirit, a special group of visitors paid a visit to the team to let them know that they have support from the highest levels. With just one day to go before the start of the 2012 Paralympic Games, a delegation arrived to London on a presidential mission.
Well, the biggest thing that we're doing is over here to support our athletes and let them know that the president and the entire administration are behind them and rooting for them and cheering them on.
White House delegates Karine Dale, Lisa Jackson, and Paralympians Jean Driscoll and Larry Hughes were all treated to a VIP tour of the U.S. Paralympic Operations Center at the University of East London.
This is no small feat, you know. This takes an incredible team of people, and it's actually really neat to see our USOC and how dedicated they are to making sure that these athletes have the full experience and get treated for the heroes that they are.
The tour included stops at Team Processing, where the athletes get their Paralympic gear, the U.S. Paralympic offices, and a Team USA wheelchair basketball practice.
Anytime you get a chance to go out and put USA in your chest and push your body to the limit is one thing, but then to be able to have the U.S. delegation come and watch us was a thrill and an honor.
It's a feeling Paralympian Jean Driscoll can relate to.
Wearing USA on my uniform as an athlete was something that made me very proud, but being a part of a presidential delegation, there's a different kind of pride that goes with that.
Sports is such a great tool so that people can get back into the swing of life and feel useful, feel productive, continue building on that team spirit that you learn in the military.
And to see how hard these athletes work and to see how well they push their body to that limit and past is inspiring, truly worthy of wearing the USA on our chest.
Heading up the presidential delegation was Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey. Dempsey hosted a special celebration dinner to pay tribute to Team USA athletes and sponsors.
225 or so athletes, 20 of them, I'm very proud to say, are wounded warriors, veterans of the Armed Forces of the United States. I think that it's a match made in heaven. Sadly, we continue to have additional members added to the rolls of wounded warriors. But having something like this and a partnership that they can, those of them that choose to become involved in it can actually inspire them is just terrific, and I thank you.
Dempsey reinforced the military's strong commitment to wounded warriors and Paralympic sports.
Tonight we'll celebrate not just the accomplishments, but as importantly, the commitment to these athletes who don't define their lives in terms of their disability, but rather in terms of their abilities. It's just phenomenal.
During the games, a delegation of a different sort also paid a visit to our Team USA athletes. A special group of wounded warriors traveled from Italy, Germany, and Belgium to show their support for the military athletes participating in the games. 17 soldiers and staff members made the trip thanks to the Paralympic Committee, the Wounded Warrior Project, and the Red Cross, catching some table tennis matches and cheering on an American judoku.
I've had 3 right knee surgeries, and to actually see the people out there going at it, being able to do anything that they wanted to do, that means something to me.
Trip organizers hope the soldiers will be inspired by the Paralympic athletes.
The best thing we can hope for out of this whole experience is that the new soldiers to our organization are inspired to participate in our programs like Commander's Cup and other types of adaptive reconditioning, adaptive sports events that we hold.
The soldiers got some motivation and insight on adaptive sports from former soldier Carrie Miller during a meet and greet with the U.S. women's sitting volleyball team.
A lot of times you get injured and you're in the WTU or whatever, and you're not doing your normal job. You're not doing whatever, and you're kind of sitting around and have time to be mad at life. But when you get out and you get a chance to play and get all that anxiety out, you don't even think about all the small things, and you rehab a lot quicker.
The soldiers also helped to inspire the athletes they met to do their best for Team USA. Getting the athletes to the games requires more than perseverance and dedication on the part of the athletes, coaches, and support staff. In fact, none of it would be possible without the efforts of a small army of United States Olympic Committee and Team USA staff and volunteers. For example, getting athletes outfitted with their official uniforms and apparel was no small task. But thanks to a dedicated team, every athlete on Team USA looked sharp throughout the Paralympic Games.
Today we are fitting the para-athletes for the Paralympic Games here in London 2012.
We basically set up a warehouse here and we outfit every single member of Team USA.
A lot of it is taking it in, shortening dresses and trousers as well, you'd call them pants, and just making sure that everything fits perfectly.
We've done some quite crazy things like you know, add 2 jackets together to make them the right size for athletes. We'll just do whatever is necessary really to make the athletes feel good.
It's quite challenging, but it is great, honestly. I'm really happy to be here, really happy to be part of the Paralympics.
The Paralympians are really here because they love the sport and because they want to be here. So it's a really fun group, an exciting group to get to work with.
We can't really put it into words, this experience. It's just such a positive, rewarding, inspirational place to be. They look absolutely gorgeous, all of them do. Thank you very much!
While these staff members and volunteers worked tirelessly to provide logistical support for Team USA Paralympians, the athletes themselves had the opportunity to thank the ones who had probably given them the most support through their rehabilitation and journey to compete in the Paralympic Games.
Behind every winning athlete is an amazing mom and an amazing family.
Today, we're at the P&G banquet for the Thank You Mom program. I'm just happy to be out here knowing that P&G took up the cross and said, I'm going to follow the Paralympics. We don't have too many sponsors, so when someone says, I want to be part of a movement that's going to change the world, I have to look to them as one of the leaders in their industry.
Somebody was talking about it's the greatest thing to be a sponsored athlete, but right now I have to tell you, it's the greatest thing being the mother of a sponsored athlete.
I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my mom and dad, and my mom especially. You know, I think back to even when I was first paralyzed and the journey that we went through together, and to see companies showing their support for not only the athletes, but the athletes' families is huge.
Without the sponsors, we as parents couldn't do what we do for our athletes, and that's what it's all about.
I've been an amputee since I've been 1.5. Just thinking that I didn't know about Paralympics to 2006 kind of bothered me. When I finally joined the Paralympics and read the stories, I had new role models that made me feel more, I guess, less self-conscious about when I was growing up. People can excel not only on the track, not only in the pool, not only on their cycles or fencing, but they can excel academically as well. I'll be racing in the 100 meter, the 200 meter, and in the 4x100 meter relay. This is a movement that I feel can change the world. And just to be part of this movement, it means a lot to me. And you know, without your mom, you wouldn't even be here.
I'm proud of where he's come from and everything he's done, and I love you. I love you, sweetie.
And more than 60 years after the first Paralympic Games were held in the United Kingdom, the 2012 London Games came to a close. In a ceremony honoring the athletes, volunteers, and military, audiences witnessed a spectacle as awe-inspiring as its opening ceremony 2 weeks earlier. During the parade of flags, Navy Lieutenant Brad Snyder served as flag bearer for the U.S. He was picked by his teammates after his inspirational performance in his first Paralympic Games. The crowd and participants were treated to a top-notch performance by Coldplay, Rihanna, and Jay-Z. And as soon as London wrapped up the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games, the focus now shifts on to Brazil for the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Games. Demonstrating determination beyond imagination, these undaunted heroes, with the courage to excel beyond their limitations, serve to inspire us all to reach beyond our grasp, with limitless perseverance. Their stories serve to remind us that what lies behind us and in front of us pales in comparison to what lies inside of us. They encourage us all to follow their example, to strive for excellence in the face of adversity, and follow them on the journey of champions.